Okay, today is the 23rd of August, 2021, Monday. All eyes on Jackson Hole Symposium or the meeting itself. All right, this is the place. Jackson Hole is the wealthiest county in America. Okay, and everybody is looking forward to go there, right? I'll talk about this later in a short moment's time. But the thing is this, that's why now people is getting old with this. They feel that, right, COVID is no longer an important thing. Now all eyes will be on this symposium. All right, because this one will likely be the key turning point or the crucial flip point for the next few months and the coming year for the financial economic policy. All right, we'll talk about this later today. Right, let's take a look at this Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. All right, it's an annual symposium, okay, sponsored by the Federal Reserve of Kansas City since 1978. And every year it's all right, all the bankers will come, finance minister, bankers will come down and they will be talking about the moving forward, what's the plan and stuff like that. Okay, all right, but this year there's something very interesting. ECB, Christine Lagarde, and Bank of England, Governor Bailey is not going to join. Now, not too sure why they don't join. They say that it's because of the numbers and stuff like that, but I kind of don't believe that. I think there's something more to it, right? That's why I say this coming Jackson Hole meeting is kind of going to be important, because when people don't attend such a meeting, right, usually it does represent something that they probably not too happy about. So that's why this is going to be interesting, okay? All right, disclaimer as usual. All right, make sure that you understand this. Whatever I share today is my personal opinion. And if you accepted the above, you identified me, okay? All right, so quote of the day for all successful traders. What's the difference between a pro and an amateur? Professional looks for what's wrong with the setup. Amateurs only look out for what's right. And I think that is very, very, very true. All right, Mark Harila. All right. When you get to the point of being a professional trader, you look more for errors than anything else. Amateurs often fail to do that, which is kind of true, because we always know whether we are right or wrong, but actually we look at the setup and see where is the direction and see whether we can make it better. Okay, we'll talk about this later, all right, when we have time. But today itself, right, we're going to start the market with the charts right now. The bull goes bull, the bear goes grrr, and the lemming goal is different this time. Let's go to the chart right now and see what do we expect. What can we see from the market today? Now, we already see some movement in the Dow Jones this morning. The Dow is trading a bit higher right now at 135,174 level. Okay, let's look at the China A50. Now, China A50 this morning has gapped down a little bit. This is MLP for today. This is the MA30 for today. This is MA200. We're still very far away from the MA200. We are like still distant from the MLP today, but it seems that the market is recovering a little bit. So probably Hong Kong is going to do the same thing. Now, Hong Kong today, we saw a very strong recovery towards the end of the day. So this will likely follow through. I suspect that will happen. So this is MLP, this is MA30 and MA200. So I kind of suspect that later on, Hang Seng may actually recover to retest the MLP today. All right, Hang Seng is going to open up in just a few more moments. Let's go live right now to Hang Seng this morning. All right, the day chart is going to open. So stand by and take a look. All right, Hang Seng just opened and Hang Seng opened flat, but it's trading higher right now. Let's take a look. Okay, let me bring in the charts in. the drawing in. Okay, Hang Seng this morning opening price is actually above pivot 1. It's above pivot 1. So which means that above OP, CCRY is a buy. But again, the KSI is still red for the last 5 days. So you're going to have some form of resistance. So which means that if the Hang Seng goes up and you're buying, then KTR plus 1, do consider to take partial profit. All right, good morning to you, Brian, Janet, Allison, Eric, Alex, okay? All right, so this is something to take note of. It means that the market opens, okay? Now, the probability of the market going to KTR plus 1 is high, but because the KSI is red, then that means that if it hits a plus 1, you have to consider to take profit, okay? You have to consider to take profit, okay? All right. Now, other than that, the sound right, nothing much we can cover because it's above OP, above pivot 1. So based on rule, as long as the market stays above OP, CCRY is a buy, okay, throughout the, throughout the period, okay? All right, so we'll come to this later when we have time. Okay, let's move on. And let's look back at the China A50 one more time, a short glimpse. Okay, it's currently now trading down again. So maybe this will dampen a little bit of the momentum for Hang Seng. All right. Okay, let's go to the US stock market right now. Now, this is the Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones last Friday was incredible. Okay, let me run through this, okay? Now, last Friday, the opening price was actually below the doji. So that's why it came down first. We saw the Dow came down almost 200 points. But to the second half of the day, it reversed strongly, goes above OP. Now, remember this, doji directional day doesn't mean that the starting point will be correct. It can turn around last minute, which you saw on Friday. It was all the way down in the morning to the afternoon. It was below OP. We thought it was a sell. But of course, we need to be cautious of the wind. And truth be told, the market reversed, crossed back above OP. Now, when we cross back above OP, become a buy. Okay, it crossed back above OP because it's a directional day, right? So what we saw is that the market goes above OP and go all the way up and close near the high instead. All right, so that's why it is very important for doji directional day to always set SWL, which I said that before. Okay, so now what happened is today, we'll talk about that later, about the intraday movement. Now let's take a look at the movement today. Now for MLP, for the Dow Jones today is somewhere around here. Okay, it's about 34,981 level, somewhere around there. Okay, that is the MLP for the Dow Jones. Then of course we have the moving average. Now last Friday the market went past the moving average, eventually closed below. Today it's testing again and it's now holding above it. So as long as the Dow Jones stays above this moving average, let's put it in right now. As long as Dow Jones stays above the moving average, and that's 35,118 on it. Okay, 35,118. Do note again the number will change along the day, but 35,118 is an important MA30 level for today. Right, put it there, lock it in. All right, 35,118. As long as the Dow Jones stays below 35,000, stays above 35,118, Dow Jones is a buy. Okay, I repeat myself very clearly. As long as the Dow Jones stays above 35,118, Dow Jones is a buy. Okay. All right, this is very, very important. You must take note of that. Okay, 35,118. Okay. Okay. All right, so that is the Dow Jones 35,118. I'll write it down for you. The Dow MA30 35,118. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So now you can see that across the board right now, there's some buying across the board right now on the Dow, the Nasdaq, the Hang Seng also have stayed above OP. I'll come to the Hang Seng in a very short moment's time. All right, point to you, Gary. Okay, let's see the Hang Seng. Okay, Hang Seng is trading above OP right now, and it should be able to hit KTR +1. Indeed, yes, indeed. Market has hit the KTR +1 already, so you can see that a quick bite this morning because you know it's above OP, above pivot 1. As long as you remember this, the rule of thumb is that the probability of it hitting KTR +1 is there. If you try to buy it in the morning, even though it's like, you know, you go to M1 chart, if you bought it right, you already make some money today already. It's as simple as that. So tomorrow during the Super Tuesday, for those coming out to the office, right, I'll be sharing you how you do this daily bread. But of course, you need to have some nerve of steel to do this. Okay. All right. So that is the Hang Seng right now. I'll come back to this later. Let's look at the Dow continuously. Okay, this is the Dow Jones right now. So you can see that the MA30 is very near to the 95 percentile level, but it got no reason to panic because as long as the market stays above the MA30, there's no reason to panic. Only if the market stays below the MA30, then we may have to look at the MA200, which happen to coincide with the 95%. All right, the weekly chart is interesting. Now, everybody take a look. Now, this one, you must take a look. Now, I'll take away this one first. Okay, before we do that, I realized that my BNB didn't come up. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, this is the BNB, RL, and SL. This is the BNB, extension. It hit the, I told you guys when the Dow Jones come down to the BMB SL extension, you can see that it's always have a rebound over there. Almost every time we see this happening, right, this phenomenon will happen, especially for uptrend market. We've said this before, it's very clear it happened again. All right, so that is the Dow Jones. And let's look at the weekly chart right now. Now, the weekly chart, you can see a very interesting thing. Let me just explain to you. I draw it down for you. Now, the last time, this is the starting point. I used my short-term trend line. Okay, I continuously use it. Now, there were times whereby we saw this, where it goes below the short-term moving average. The next week, it rebounded. It did that again. Next week, rebounded. So by right, last Friday, the closing actually created the closing below the short-term trend line, the blue line. And logically speaking, if things were to repeat again and again, you can see that as long as this does happen, that it will rebound. And you can see that the rebound point is always at the long-term trend line. Can you see that? Long-term trend line. So by right itself, right, today, right, why the Dow Jones is recovering? Because it touches the long-term trend line and rebound. So it's actually going in line with the pattern that we have already known since weeks ago. So that's the reason why, as long as the Dow Jones stays above the long-term trend line, the market will go up. I repeat, as long as the market stays above the long-term trend line, the market will go up. So where is the point of intersection for this one here? Now, this is where it gets interesting. Everybody take note. The intersection point is at 35,000, or to be precise, 34,966, which means that the Dow Jones has to stay above 34,996 for this week. As long as the Dow Jones stays above 34,996, stays above it, the Dow Jones should be going up. Okay, so I'll write it down for you, 34,996 level is a very critical level because it has been proven that it has to stay above it. So as long as the market stays above it, all is good. Okay, all clear? All right, critical, Dow critical support quickly. Give a weekly chart at 34,996 for this week. Okay, all right. So you already know what to do. You can just use it wisely and make money out of it. Okay. All right, let's look at the Dow Jones today based on our TWB chart. Let's take a look. Hang Seng, wow, Hang Seng's continue to go up. Ooh, okay, see Hang Seng continue to stretch itself all the way higher now. All right, by right, it could tap the KTR +2, but I will sincerely advise you, once you hit the KTR +2, do take some profit. If the market hit the KTR +2, do take some profit because the KSI is still red in color for the day chart, okay? So if it touches this, do consider to take some profit, okay? Do consider. Okay, China A50, let's take a look. Okay, it's still down. So there's no reason why it's this pushing up, at least for what we are seeing now. Okay, but of course the Dow future is trading higher. So that is probably the one that's pushing the market a bit. Okay, so we have the Dow now. Hang Seng, look at the Dow. Okay, the day chart first. Now, the Dow Jones day chart is pretty clear. The opening price this morning is between the pivot 1 and pivot 2. KSI is green, so which means that the probability of the market going to KTR +1 is very high. It is very high. So let's see what happened now in the 15-minute chart. You can see the Dow Jones is moving higher right now. It did a CCRY as it is, and then of course there's no trigger. Then it just went on the way up. So it's a very good chance. I'm gonna see that likely the Dow Jones is gonna touch this point here. And that will be 35,204 because that's a KTR +1 there. Okay, that's the level to watch out for, 35,205. Okay, all right. So that is the Dow Jones this morning, kind of early movement this morning. But again, with the Jackson Hole coming this Friday, so I cannot believe that they are going to get themselves ready and prepared for this. Okay, all right. So that is the Dow Jones for now. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq, you are just just days away, or it could be just today, who knows, to be hitting the all-time high again. All right, so what happened on Friday? The market went down below the MA30, but after that it went strongly above it and closed strongly up and near the high. So it's kind of believed that the market is going to push up further. Now, one of the counter, Microsoft up by 6% the last 2 days, the last on Friday, shows that the market is just buying anything that works. Okay, so what we have right now is the MLP and the MA30 is very close to one another. It's about 15,022 area. So which means that as long as the Nasdaq stays above 15,022 area, the Nasdaq should be going higher. The Nasdaq should be going higher. Now, judging from the way the momentum is going right now, the market seems to be very strong. It's leaning towards the further upside for the US stock market. Okay, 15,022. Okay. All right, so there's a Nasdaq for you. If you look at the TWB chart, let's take a look at Nasdaq. The day chart shows that it's a CCRY on the Nasdaq. So by right, it's a buy on the Nasdaq CCRY. This morning above OP is a buy ready and the KSI is green in color. So overall, a buy for both on the Nasdaq, okay, on the colors and the KSI. So for Nasdaq to trace above OP and trigger KTR +1 should be a very, very simple thing to do. Let's take a look. Okay, so the Nasdaq is just only probably about 10 points away to hit the first KTR +1. KTR +1 is 15,143, which I suspect that it should be is going to be easily touched later today at 15,143 level for the Nasdaq. Okay, so that's how confident we are. Like, we see the market, we see the momentum, we see all the charts, we can roughly know where the market is going to go for and stuff like that. Okay, so there's the Nasdaq. Let's look at S&P 500. Now, S&P 500 also displayed the same thing. Okay, S&P 500 also displayed the same thing. We have it, this is a moving average, 44.23 for the MA30. We also realize that the MLP is also very nearby, 44.21 level. So again, we have another interesting behavior whereby the MA30 and the MLP for today is very near, 44.22 to be precise. Okay, 44.22. All right, so S&P 500, as long as it stays above 44.22, likely the S&P could be going higher today. All right, so we have all the US indices conventional chart being explained. Let's look at the last one, which is the let's clear the charts a little bit. Okay, we look at the S&P 500 day chart. All right, you can see that it's moving higher, opening price between two pivot. KSI is red though, KSI is red. So if it goes up, right, that means that it hit KTR +1, you must consider to take some profit already because the KSI on the day chart is actually red. So 144.53, we should see some resistance for the S&P 500. Okay, all right, that's how we relate the charts based on what we are seeing right now. Okay, so we have that. Okay, how about let's look at China again. China is still trading below OP, interesting. But Hong Kong is now trading above OP. So it's like Hong Kong is actually following more to the US market for this morning. All right. But it seems like resisted at MLP already. Yeah? It seems to be resisted at the MLP level here, as you can see right now. Okay, so let's look at the DAX market, shall we? DAX. Hey, where's my DAX? Okay. All right, so for DAX, we have MA today will be around here, 15,747. All right, last week it was lower, last week was somewhere around here. So that's why when the market stays above the MA30 last week, that's why the DAX shoot up all the way. So again, above MA30, you are always a buyer. Below MA30, you are always a seller. And I said it on last Friday, the market stays above the MA30. That's why you can see DAX went up all the way by about 100 points. Now today, the MA30 will be somewhere around here for the DAX, somewhere here about 15,748, but we need to have the opening price included so that we can see a better judgment on that. Now, in terms of MLP, we are somewhere around here for MLP. So we are about 15,722. That is a DAX level for today. But overall itself, right, for DAX, as long as it stays above MA30, right, DAX should be able to trade higher today. DAX should be able to trade higher today. Okay, all right, that is DAX. Okay, let's look at the Nikkei. Now, Nikkei is still on the downward trend momentum. You can see that. Okay, that's one way to look at it. But what's important now for Nikkei is that it has a doji day yesterday, and the MLP is here. So as long as Nikkei stays above 27,235, Nikkei should be going higher, and Nikkei is doing it right now. But the MA30 is still way above. The MA200 is even further away. So for Nikkei itself, right, I kind of suspect that the upside could be limited. If there's going to be any profit taking on the US market, right, Nikkei will still continue to go down. Now, the time when we call for sell, Nikkei was around here, and it broke the previous low. That's why the market broke the previous low. It rebounded because traditionally a lot of short sellers will be shorting the market when it break the previous low, and the boys came in to harvest instead. So now the thing is this, for the Nasdaq, as long as for the Nikkei, as long as it stays above the MLP, it still will be okay. But if later on today, if I say it loses this MLP, right, it's going to be dangerous. So traders, you need to watch out for that. Okay. All right. So that is the Nikkei. And if you look at the Nikkei, today's chart for Nikkei, you have TWB System. All right, its opening price is actually above pivot 1. The opening price is above pivot 1. The KSI may be red, but the opening is still above pivot 1. So by default, if it goes above OP, CCRY, minimally KTR plus 1 should be given. So look at the 15-minute chart, you can see beautiful, all right? Beautiful. The market came down first, then recover above OP, and one time it went to KTR plus 1. Okay, very fast, in a single stroke it went up. So by right now, if you have bought your Nikkei, you can try to aim for KTR plus 2. But the question is, the KSI day chart is happen to be red. So if you want to do that, the sell, right, do make sure that once the market reach the KTR plus 2, quickly take a profit, because it may not stay there for long, at least for the current situation right now. Okay, so you can see that if you do this on a very clear basis, you will know that above OP, above CCRY, above OP, above pivot 1, you buy, right? To hit the first KTR is rather easy. It can be done. And that's why, you know, if you actually spend some time in this and you can trade every morning like that, good enough already. All right, so for those people coming down on tomorrow, Super Tuesday, and I will be sharing about the Hang Seng, right? I'm quite sure you guys will benefit from it. Okay, all right. Will there be any crash course? I mean, any recording? I don't think so. If the people who come for the class, they enjoy it, right, then I will open another one again next week. Okay, all right. So that's the Nikkei for us. So we've covered all the indices. Let's look at the commodities right now, and obviously the one that you are now very concerned is gold. Okay, now gold. Let's just be upfront here, guys. Let's be objective here. Now, gold is not doing very well. Okay, not doing very well. Let's watch. Why? Okay, so first of all, the MLP for gold today is about 1780. Okay, the MA30 also somewhere nearby is for 1783 for MA30. So right now for you, 1783 is the MA30. The MLP is for 1780. Okay, so which means that as long as gold stays below MLP 1780, gold downside potential is there. And because it's pressured down by the MA30 on top, right, the pressure on gold is there. So as long as gold stays below MLP, there is a possibility for gold to trade down all the way to 1762. Okay, 1762. But if let's say gold do recover and goes back above the OP, then it is possible that it will cross the MLP, and the next target upside could be as high as 1803, which is the KCB level. So I'm going to write it down for you guys. Okay. Gold, the MLP is estimated about 1780. The MA30 today is 1783. The potential downside is 1762. The potential upside is 1803. Okay. So I already done for you the very simple way of seeing a chart. I draw for you already. I explained this to you. And do note, Friday is a doji day. Doji day means as long as the market is below OP, it will be a sell. Okay, below OP, it will be a sell. If it goes above OP, then by right, it will be a buy. So traders, you need to have your eyes watched on the screen. Okay. Of course, can you switch again and play again? It can be done. It's just that it's incredible because this is a 7 doji in a month, which is very, very, very rare. So that's why I say that there should be big movement on the way soon for gold. I cannot tell you exactly where it is, but we just have to follow through the charts. Okay. All right. So this is very, very important. Well, I see some selling again in Hong Kong. I'll come to that shortly. Let's give a moment. Now, Hong Kong has reversed beautifully from the MLP. Look at it. Hong Kong hit the MLP mark that I mentioned, right? 25,245. And then now Hong Kong is pulling back down. Exactly at the MLP, the market hits and trigger and pull back. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. You can see the 5-minute chart shows very clearly that Hang Seng hits the MLP point brilliantly and then couldn't go higher, pulls back. Just pulls back. And if you remember this time I told you about the Hang Seng, I said that about Hang Seng, right? The day chart on Hang Seng is red in color. Hence, therefore, the upside could be limited to KTR -1 to +1 to +2. And you can see that Hang Seng hit the KTR +2 straight away, U-turn come down back to the OP price. So now you understand why it is so important to use the pivot and the KTRs, the OP to give yourself a gauge. So if you have done that itself, then you will take a profit at KTR +2, and then you're now happier as a trader. Okay, so all these are shown live to you to show that it is possible to go live in market, trade, make money in the market as long as you know your rules very, very well. Okay, so that we have the Hang Seng. Let's look at the silver market. Now, silver market, I told you as long that the gold doesn't go up, right, silver will still face downside momentum. And apparently you can see that if the way it comes down is very, very nicely. So probably it's going to be clear that as long as there's no clear outbreak from gold, silver is going to stay low for a while, in my personal opinion. Okay. All right. So for today's gold, the TWB system, let's take a look at today's gold. The opening price is very near to the pivot 2. KSI is red in color. So, but then again, no blue bar means the market is kind of bullish in the seller market. So as long as the market stays above OP, right, it should be able to go up again to 1791 or the KTR +1. But if the market goes below OP, then I can tell you safely, and below P2, sorry, it will go much lower, and 1762. All right, it's the fair figure that I think the market will be going if the gold price do fall. Okay, all right, this is something very important. Please kindly take it down. Okay. Okay, so now we have that. Let's look at the crude oil. Now, crude oil rebounded at the $61.80 mark. I told you last week, I said that crude oil will rebound at about $61.80 mark. Do you remember that? If you remember that, please key the word spot on. Yeah, for crude oil. All right, if you remember that. Okay, because I told you crude oil will likely see some support at 61.86. I also have drawn it through the MAO. I say already, once crude oil hit this point, likely we will see an intermittent recovery. All right, we may see a recovery of somewhere to 63, 64 level, but after a while later, right, I still suspect that the crude oil price will go down lower again. Okay, thank you, Brian, who remember this. That's nice of you. All right, so where is the next level that the crude oil might be going down? Well, if this one doesn't hold water, then we are in serious trouble because crude oil could be going down to much lower level, which is about 60.46 level. And the next one will be as much as, oh, sorry. Okay, here, which is about the $57 per barrel a month. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Anthony, for remembering that. Huh? Okay, so you guys know the drill. So as long as the crude oil stays below the MA30, stays below the MA200, of course, it's a seller market. That's why you can see the market came off strongly last week. Okay, now for today's crude oil, let's look at the TWB chart. Now, today's TWB chart is interesting because you can see, right, the opening price is between the two pivot, but the KSI is red, but now it's trying to climb above pivot one. So as long as the market stays above pivot one, it'll be buy already. But if the market cannot climb above pivot one, right, that means that there is some selling pressure on the Hang Seng, on the crude oil, sorry. So the downside is kind of there. Okay. All right, there's something to take note of. The market has to go above pivot one for the upside to be confirmed. At least for today, at least for today. Okay, so we have everything else here already, the crude oil and commodities and indices. I covered everything here. Hopefully you guys like this sharing. Okay, all right, anything else to ask me? I think that would be fine. But I want to say this myself one more time to just share with you. For gold, it's very, very important for gold to stay above pivot 2 today. Pivot 2 is 1777. So if the market loses this level itself, right, the selling could be quite drastic. So traders, just take note of that. Now, China A50 is still down, but the Hang Seng market has tried to recover a little bit. So again, it's not really going according to usual. So it's going to follow the market on its own. That'll be safer for all of you. Okay, all right, that's all for the technical side. I hope that I clear up. Okay, let's look at the rest today. Now, today's fundamentals and alternate market news and content is quite hefty. So it'd be good that you stay on to listen. Okay, let's go. Okay, first of all, let me thank all of you guys for participating in last Saturday's event. We had quite a good event. I think people like it. They felt they learned something from there. Of course, we can do it better if you have longer time. But I think 2 hours is good enough to cover so many things, plus our little sharing and preview. All right. So if you guys want to join, bring your friends down, there's a tryout period. I'll tell you more later on in the Telegram group chat. Okay. But once again, thank you so much, guys. And also thank Benedict for all the support and also our sponsor, Ames and Mirami. Thank you. Now, this week is going to be the critical week before we have the Jackson Hole. Now, today we have the existing home sales, the market looking at 5.81 million. Now, the last few months, the market have been pretty sideways, not much movement. So, of course, a increment of the home sales, that means that the US economy, US housing is doing well. So, of course, it'll be beneficial for people, for the traders. Okay, so that is what traders would like to look out for. Okay, moment, guys. Let me just message came in. Okay. Okay. Then after that, on Tuesday, we have new home sales, so we're even better. Okay. All right. If the number can be much higher, that means that the economy is doing well. So these two data will probably give Federal Reserve a little more boost on what their final decision. Okay, but of course, usually if they're going for a symposium, I don't think they wait until the last minute, then they decide. They already know what they want to say, and they already spoken to their so-called other leaders or the bankers. So it's more like on the day itself, it's more like officially telling the whole world what is going to be happening. So that's the reason why I kind of suspect that this is why Christine Lagarde doesn't want to go. Now, for Dow Jones yesterday, on last Friday, it was how it goes straight away through the whole entire day. The Dow kept climbing up all the way. All right. So what led to the Dow's upside? Let's take a look. Oops, sorry, the PowerPoint didn't do properly. Hold on. Okay, so what we have is that the Dow Jones rebounded more than 200 points, but closed out a losing week. Now, major US Dow Jones stock average, closed and rebounded higher. Okay, all right. So what's the main reason? The reason one is that with the US Federal Reserve tapering coming and the Delta variant keeps spreading, the transition away from liquidity and policy regime to mid-cycle means that we may experience bumpier ride. So we all know that. All right, but the market felt that, right, maybe later on, the growth rate will come back in, the Delta variant will go off, and then this could be a time to buy. So because of that itself, right, you can see that technology is back up again. So technology counter leads the charge, and that causes the prices to go higher for technology counter. One of them is Tesla. So but the interesting is that the minutes from the Federal July meeting shows that they're willing to reduce. So it's like they show you the minutes that they will reduce, but they buy out themselves. So it's like probably the minutes is just like a smoke bomb to make people go and sell the market, and then the boys buy back. It is very possible. So of course, do know everybody will be waiting on this coming meeting, and they will see what to do lah. Okay, so traders take note of that. So let's revisit what happened on Friday, and you all know already, right? Above OP, above pivot 1, there's only one answer, CCRY buy, correct? What's the KSI? It's red in color. Yes, indeed, in the morning, we did have the market, it's a doji on the previous day. So of course, if the market goes below OP, we know it's a sell, which the market came down quite a bit. But after that, the market rebounds strongly. And when it goes above the OP, you have to follow the rules. You understand? You have to follow the rules. So what happens is that once you go above OP and above pivot 1 by right, and you know the only answer is above OP, CCRY is a buy. So let's take a look what happened on Friday. Well, it was crazy day. Initially, it went below the pivot 1 and, OP went down, sideways for a while, KTR -1, and bang, it came down. Now, what is incredible again, the KTR -2. Remember the day chart of the Dow Jones is green in color. So if you come down to KTR -1, it's possible if it come down. But to go to KTR -2 is kind of difficult. But if it came down, right, usually we suggest you to buy back a position or be careful. And you look at it, truth be told, it stopped there perfectly at the KTR -2 and rebounded. That is why these KTRs are so important. And of course, once you know that it went above OP and pivot 1, above OP and above pivot 1, no matter what you tell me, it's a buy. And the market just shoot all the way up to KTR +2, right? +2. So if you look at it, right, in a way, because it came from KTR -2, it went up by 4 KTRs on Friday alone. So again, this speaks volume of why it's so important to remember the rules about the KTRs, the pivot, and apply it accordingly the right way. Okay, all right. So that is the Dow Jones. Let's look at gold. Now, gold is even more incredible. Gold opening price was between the two, pivot 1 and pivot 2, but KSI is red in color, means upside is limited, but the blue bar in there, so they're still buying momentum. So how do we interpret this? Very, very simple. Remember what I just said earlier. And then you look at the chart right now, you can see the gold, open up and then stays above the OP and start to go higher, right? But once it hit the KTR +1, you realize that it just stopped there as if that they know it exists. And then the best part is this BNB happened to be a day high of the day, happened to be a CCYR, happened to be triggering a pivot 1, and happened to be also triggering the KTR +1. Together, the impact brought gold all the way down to the next KTR, which AKA from KTR +1, the next KTR is OP, not KTR -1. And after that, it's Jing Jong throughout the whole day. But more important thing is that the downside is kind of limited. All right, the downside is kind of limited. Okay, so that's what happened for gold on Friday. Okay. All right, so let's look at some local and global news right now so that we can actually see is there anything that we can watch out for this week. But meanwhile, before we look at this one, let's look at the market. I just see a lot of movement now in the market. We saw Hang Seng is back up again to 25,240. So seems to be some bullishness going on right now. The Dow Jones is also trading higher right now. Dow Jones is trading at 35,206. That means there's some real buying at the moment. Nasdaq also trading higher now at 15,140, and the S&P 500 trading now at 4454. So it seems that the market is buying up. The market is buying upwards. Okay. Even gold now is also moving up at the same time. Even gold is moving up at the same time. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, gold is moving up at the same time. So it seems like, right, the market is kind of very unsure what to do. But remember, the technical level has been mentioned to you. As long as the technical level is follow through, above certain thing you buy, below certain thing you sell. So you just have to follow the numbers. Okay, follow numbers, you should be pretty safe. Okay, yeah. Okay, wait. So many messages all coming in already. Oh my god. Hold on, huh? Okay. All right, so let's just continue. Apology. Okay, so what we can see right now, right, 7 killed at the Kabul airport because some of the fighters, which is the Afghanistan fighters, seized back some areas from the Taliban. All right, now the Taliban have taken control of Afghanistan, but of course, some of the Afghan soldiers, fighters are trying to win back again, and that causes some 7 civilians being killed. So you see, end of the day, what's the point? All right, you're not helping, you're only killing, getting more people getting killed. All right, some American soldiers still there now, trying to make sure that the airport can be done properly, but you can see that it's in a very disastrous state. And of course, there's more chaos right now going on because there's more threats and stuff like that. So things are not doing well for over there, but of course it's too far away and there's no financial market. So maybe it's more of a thing to be concerned, but not that important. Now, of course, that definitely hurt Joe Biden. Joe Biden job approval rating dropped, obviously, because of the COVID cases rising and, of course, the crisis in Afghanistan mounts. All right, so, of course, again, if his rating is not so good, does it mean that the 2024, would there be a problem for him in the next election? Well, it is possible. Anything is all possible. But, of course, 2024 is still very far away. So maybe he can recover this. But at least just let you know that this is a polling done with some people. Now, what is more important is in Australia, there's a record cases of COVID cases, and then people start to clash with the protesters already. So people get pretty upset. But what to do, right? The number of cases going up, really very scary. People are doing this, no mask, doing protesting, all right? And this is already really very bad because end of the day is that you really don't want to have more virus spreading, but apparently in overseas, they kind of believe more to freedom and things do happen. And of course, New Zealand cabinet now will meet whether if they want to do the continue to do nationwide extended because they had the first case, but now apparently I just saw the news that it went up to 7 cases. So that's why now they are quite worried. And of course, in China, like Shanghai, also got cases. Shanghai places hundreds in quarantine after airport cases. So again, in China, also have such cases. So all these things is happening, but you can see that the stock market is going higher, right? Because I say already, the market just want to make sure that, so in order to make everybody not to worry, they just keep on pumping the stock market, all right? Regardless of value, just keep on pumping it. That's how the world is trying to do now. They try to use money to manipulate the market so that, right, people won't get panic, people will return back to work. So that is what's happening. So follow the chart, it'll be good enough for you. Okay, this is very important. Right, Fred says, gold broke above the MA 30. Let's take a look at the gold. Okay, wow, gold is going higher now. 1785 right now. Gold is trading higher now. 1785 is really broke the MA 30 of 1783. So it seems like the buying for today is coming in because remember I told you today is a doji day. If the market stays above OP, the market will be looking towards the buy instead. Okay, the market should be looking to buy instead. So traders need to be pretty careful on this. Okay, so of course you may have, today is going to be a very choppy day. I already mentioned today will likely be a pretty choppy day. Traders just need to be more careful to the wind, play it safe, you should be fine. All right, but from the way look at it now, seems that the market want to push up the gold higher. Seems to be wanting to push the gold higher. Okay, thank you, Fred, for sharing with us that information. Let's continue. All right, so Fed official will seek to avoid a tantrum because it happened back in 2018. So as they keep taper talk going at the key summit. So in this coming week, Fed Reserve will do their so-called meeting virtually through Zoom, I think. Okay. All right, the hot topic will be the intention of how many federal officials move away from the easy monetary policy. So the thing is that one thing is that it seems to be there's some going. I just saw some articles saying that why some of the people are not attending because there seems to be this is all domestic. It's actually about US internally. So no matter whoever come, right, may not give any extra help in the final decision. So it seems to be what's going on like that. All right. So now the market is kind of worried because to some people, they say that Jerome Powell will not talk about taper. He will just go in and talk about the COVID, talk about this, talk about that. He will just say that Federal Reserve will be data dependent. So which means, in short, the whole thing come out with nothing. All right. Of course, if the market come out with nothing on that day, it's a positive thing because everybody's looking forward for tapering during the session. So if they don't talk about it itself, right, the market may buy up because of that. Okay, the market may buy up because of that. But of course, if Jerome Powell stun everybody and say that, you know what, let's stay hawkish right now, let's look at tapering. Oh, the market going to shake by coming Monday. So that's why traders must be careful going towards this week. If you can, do just set a trailing stop. If you can, also take profit towards that, okay, to protect yourself because you don't want them to give you a stunner on Monday and then things may get into crazy mode. Okay, clear on that? Okay, so take note. Okay. So you can see that most of the analysts are saying that they don't expect the Federal Reserve to do any form of tapering until December because of the continuous increment of the COVID cases and also the growth is not there in the economy. Now, of course, does it spill over to other market? Well, apparently Bitcoin is near $50,000 already. All right, that is what's happening. So there's a spillover of money crossing to different asset class. We will have a short afternoon MAO later today. Okay, so that is what's happening right now for the market. I hope that everybody is clear. All right, so again, I repeat myself, whether or not gold is a buy, right, you just follow the rules, okay? The rules say buy, you just go with the flow. Okay, all right, so what's the reason to stay bullish right now? Today, I told you there's a chunk to share with you. Let's go. Now, first of all, you can see that on Friday and Thursday, the market was down, but Friday, when it came back in, the market strongly recovered. All the indices, all the US indices strongly recovered. Okay, it is probably, there's some saying that it's due to the S&P gamma option. All right, now I'll explain this in a short while time, and that causes the market to go higher. Now, you can see that there is this OPEX, okay? This is where the options expiration is. Apparently, it's all right. There's a lot of shorts on S&P 500. So, of course, if let's say a lot of short and the writers are by the boys, then the boys will push the market higher each wave so that to expire all this trade out. Okay. So that is the reason why there's some ongoing saying. He also said that some people say that the market maker being squeezed in, but whatever it is, you can see that it's very clear every time when there is the expiration, they will pump it up and make sure that the market cannot come down. All right. So it seems that this is very outright manipulation, and that's why the market is going up. So just let you know why is it bullish. And of course, we have the FOMC meeting says that there's tapering potential. The market initially dropped first, but now we are back up again to the FOMC meeting, and we are trading slightly higher right now. So it seems like whatever they say last week, it doesn't care anymore. And that's the reason why again and again and again I say the market is really very bullish right now because the market now simply don't care, don't bother. Now I repeat, when the market simply don't care, don't bother, right? In the junction like this, seriously, there's nothing you can do. But there's nothing much you can do anyway. Okay, you understand my point? So that's why the market is staying very bullish right now. All right, now of course, it's a good time to buy the Chinese stock. Well, let's look at Chinese stock because before that, let's take a look at the China stock again. Now we can see that China A50 has rebounded a bit now. And of course, if you rebound like this, Hong Kong will surely recover. Wow, look at it. Hong Kong has just plus to KTR plus 3. So of course, earlier when the market came down, the Hong Kong market, China market was down, right? Now, if China market is higher, of course, Hong Kong will go even higher. You can see that's happening right now. And look at the day chart. You can see that. Remember, we say already, right? When it's above OP, above pivot one, you stay to one principle, buy. Above OP, above pivot one, CCRY, one simple principle only. You don't really care what people tells you, you stick to the buy, and now you're in profitable position. See that? Again proven, and again proven, again proven. Many times already. I lost count already. Okay, so why is that so? Because the Golden Dragon China ETF Index have been down for 8 straight weeks, okay? 8 straight weeks already. So, of course, if you talk about just 8 straight weeks alone, it warrants a dead cat rebound. Of course, it can be 10 weeks, it can be 11 weeks, but usually about there, 7 to 8 weeks, if it's still down for consecutive time, 2 months already, we kind of suspect that, even it's just for the sake of dead cat rebound, yeah, it's still value buying, and so I'm not surprised today Hang Seng rebounded. All right, I already prepared this chart before the Hang Seng started. That's all right. So I already tell you that this is what I'm going to explain this to you. And of course, now you look at this is the UST, US Treasury 30 years. Now the 200-day DMA and the 50-day DMA, right? That's what a lot of people are using in the market. It seems that it created a death cross last Friday. So which means that yield is expected to drop further. So that means that the yields have been down for the last about 1 to 2 weeks. That means the bond is going higher. So are you telling me that now more people are going to buy bonds to drive the yield lower? Well, it is possible because there's nothing better to do right now, right? Might as well, right? So this is something that I foresee. So if we're talking about a death cross over the last many years, it does seem to be whenever there's a death cross, the US Treasury 30 years will actually go down. And if that's the case itself, right, that means that they kind of believe that the stock market will go higher. Because that's the only way. If the yields goes down, it means that the inflation worry is not there, then actually people will be just buying the bonds. Okay? All right, so that is what we have for the reason to be bullish. So traders, you make your own personal take and call and see whether do you buy what I share with you today. Okay. All right, we are still seeing the Hong Kong market going to a new high. Incredible. All right. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Let's look at the alternate market views for today. Today got quite a bit of stuff. Now, first of all, we can still see this, the Citi Economic Surprise Index Global mid price is at 510 right now. The high was much higher in 2020. So from 100, it has dropped all the way to 5.1 right now. Oh my God. Okay, so basically poor retail sales data, slumping consumer and business confidence, COVID cases surging, but not deaths. Okay, Delta fear mongering. All right, all this thing about Afghanistan thingy, all this is pulling down the economic surprise index. This is actually more to like people's expectation of the market. So all this tells you that people are not very comfortable, but the Dow Jones at high. So the flip side is this: if this surprise index recover, well, the Dow Jones will hit 40,000. That's the upside of it. The downside of this is that it means the economy is actually showing you things are not correct, but the stock market is being resilient here. So it's outright manipulation. And if there's outright manipulation, right, things can get very ugly in the later stage. Right? So that's why, again, you need to take note of that. Now, the dollar has been going higher, which means that the tapering seemingly is happening, but it doesn't seem to be right now. It means that now the market says that they may not be tapering. Even the Federal Reserve official Kaplan now also changed his mind. So you see, these guys are really terrible. One moment they are buyer, one moment they are seller. Just keep on switching around. We really don't know what the hell is going on. But if the dollar is going higher, right, it actually tells me that the boys are actually expecting some tapering, right? So the dollar is globally most liquid currency. So doesn't it tell us a story? So I just couldn't see why this week itself, right, Jerome Powell will be taking this like, nothing happened at it. I don't think so. All right, of course, when this is happening, if the economy is not doing well, the crude oil should be down. And I told you many times before, right, in the economics, if the crude oil's price is up, mean cost is up, and equity market will go down, right, you score the A. But if it's the other way around, whereby in the real world, if the US economy is not doing well, and the crude oil is coming down because the economy is doing well, logically the stock market should come down. But the stock market doesn't do that. In fact, it goes higher. So that's why this is really out of context. Now, oil market was hit by waves of selling pressure this week as short-term systematic funds pivoted from liquidating long position to building outright short position. So it seems that more fund managers are shorting crude oil. And why would they short crude oil? Because they likely expect the dollar will go higher. And why the dollar go higher is because they expect tapering. So it's like now, unless the whole world is wrong or the world traders are wrong, if not itself, right? If the thing really happened, this get very, very drastic. So of course, if the whole world is wrong, wow, you can see every market now is surging like crazy. Okay, so watch out for this coming week, Jackson Hole. It's going to be very, very, very critical. Now, of course, you can see that if the crude oil price is down, the S&P stocks that is now away from the 52 weeks definitely must be crude oil, energy, then customer service and construction, discrete, and so forth, right? The one that hardly get involved or get hit is with financial, real estate, and utilities, okay? So that's why I cannot believe that, right, whatever we're seeing here is true because the price is coming down. People don't, because of the price coming down on crude oil, they buy more crude stock. In fact, they sell because the revenue is not able to cover. So that's something very, very important. All right, and this is the implied correlation that I've been sharing. So it does show a bit of really flashing little red, okay, warning sign. But it's more important is that this qualifies the difference between the index volatility and the summation of the underlying volatility of the name of the index. Okay, in short, the implied correlation measures the relative demand for instant liquid index macro protection relative to its underlying names. Okay, in short, it's just talking about if let's say this number is going higher, right? Usually the market is getting worried. So if you look back in the tape, right, the last time we see something like this was in April to May, and then what happened? Let's take a look at April to May on the Dow Jones. April to May. Wow, Hang Seng is even higher now. Ooh. Wow, 25,453. Oh my goodness, it's really, really surging, my friends, surging. Oh my God. Okay, so again and again, I stress to all of you, please remember above OP, stay on the long side of it. Okay, stay above on the long side of it, and also above pivot one. Also, this is very, very, very important. Okay, guys. This is very important stuff that you must remember, okay? All right, this is so important. Now, China stock has continued to recover. You can see right now, China stock has continued to recover. That's the reason, okay? All right, but of course, remember, the KSI is still red in color for the Hang Seng day chart. So now already KDR +3. So take some profit if you're long, but don't short, okay? If you short, it could be very dangerous for you unless you know what you're doing. Okay, so this is again, all these are information that you must remember, guys. You must remember, don't fight, really, don't fight. Okay. All right, sorry, my bad, I forgot. Sorry, May, right? April, May, early May. Sorry, I forgot about that. Got distracted. May. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see this? This is the problem here. So this chart, if you look at it with the PowerPoint, try to make it together. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see this? Oops. Okay, you can see that, right? There is this point whereby the implied correlation shoot up, right? And that was what happened to the justice. You can see that what happened to the Dow Jones. It shoot up together, right? And then after that, suddenly the implied was so high. You can see that, and then boom, it came down. So this one here itself, the market down by 1,800 points in just 3 working days. So you got an idea? Okay, so you got an idea now, right? If you look at it now, we are here, and the way it's moving is in the same direction, getting a bit worried. So is it because that the Dow, the implied is going higher, means that the Dow is going to go up? Indeed, but you come to a point whereby usually it hit resistance and then the Dow will pull back quite substantially. So traders, you need to watch out for this. Okay, it's like a bit like VIX indicator, but it's more towards to inform you towards the current interest rate environment that people are looking at right now. Okay, all right, so that is that. So VIX itself is a self-fulfilling way as many participants use it. But recently, more and more ETF is also using it, and that impact the short-dated volume market. And of course, it did a bit of controlling. So you can see now, every time when the VIX go up, right, you notice that the way it come down is very, very systematic, as if that someone is controlling it very well. So the more you control a market like this, right, the more I believe that one day they will purposely break that so-called control. So I still believe that now the pullback is expected, and now it's trying to stay. Once it stays above this so-called downward trend, I kind of believe that the next wave, right, it will break this downtrend totally and go higher. So again, this is my personal take. Now I say already, this time round, the market should be able to go up to about 26 to 28 level. So this is how I suspect this. All right, so traders, watch out. Of course, there's some people who betting that you go to 40 lah. Remember, there's this guy, there's a trader who bought millions of dollars of options and saying that, right, the VIX indicator will hit 40 lah. So I don't know will hit 40 or not. But if it goes 40, then of course things will get quite interesting for the equity market. Okay, so that is what we are seeing right now between the implied and the VIX indicator. And then, of course, this is the last two slides to watch out for. This is the thing that you must take note. The S&P 500 is still surging up, right? But the market breadth of the members that's been above the 200-day MA is going down at a rapid pace. That means that a lot of companies now are not going up, are all trading below the 200-day moving average. Below, no, not above, it's below. So that means that there are more sellers than buyers. Then why is the S&P going higher, right? Because they just concentrate all the firing power onto some of the very big blue chip like Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, all the FANGs. So is it very, very silly here we're doing this? Well, I put it this way, if you look at this company, they actually employ a lot of people. So it makes a lot of sense for them to survive. And of course, if things collapse, right, if you bring it to a very high level and then bring it down, right, even at a midpoint, it's still considered a reasonable level for the company. This is why I kind of suspect that they can just push it up just to make sure to get a buffer when it comes down. And you can see on Friday, it was crazy. S&P was going up very fast, right? But the money flow was going out. That means that people are actually using this push up to take profit. So the only reason that it's can be done is because the Federal Reserve coming to buy. I keep on telling you, they're still having $120 billion they have. The money came in, people who the Federal Reserve coming the money, but it's not part of money flow. So when the market goes up, right, you can see that more people actually take money off the table. So again, that also created this problem right now in the market. Okay. All right. That will be all for today's MAO. I hope that you like it. All right. Remember this, everything just follow the chart. This coming weekend will be the Jackson Hole Symposium. You really want to take your time on it. As we go nearer to the date, I will cover more stuff and also tell you that what you can look out for. All right, that'll be all for today. Thank you once again for staying tuned. I hope you like this session today. Have a great day. I'll see you later on for the afternoon MAO. This is Cal signing off. Bye-bye. Okay, I'll do that, Fred. I'll do that later in the afternoon MAO.